Oh, okay. So, yeah. Um, my name is Emily. I'm one of the coordinators of Center Somerville Youth. So today we're having a conversation with Thaddeus Walls, who I believe is Tracey Pratt's campaign manager. Tracey Pratt is running for councilor at large in our municipal election. So we'll be asking questions about Thaddeus' mission, which is this. We're going to be skipping the intro and just talking about the issues today. So our questions will be in the categories energy, infrastructure, racial justice, education. So Marie is going to be asking questions, and we'll start now if you're ready.
All righty.
Okay, so this is a little bit different because you're talking on behalf of somebody else. But can you give us a brief introduction of Tracey Pratt? So you have 4 minutes. I'll put the question in the chat. You share her pronouns, past job experience, what she's done to address climate change in the past, and why she's running for office. Pardon the second person used in the questions there.
No worries. Tracey's pronouns are she and hers. Her current leadership and job experience, she's been a public school educator for the last 21 years. She served on the Cambridge and Somerville City Democratic Committees and also founded Just Us Somerville last year in response to the protests pertaining to George Floyd, and really taking up a social justice organizer leadership space within the city of Somerville, galvanizing and mobilizing people, not only on issues, but also around engagement and solutions as well. And really her main 3 things on her platform is really housing justice, environmental justice, and public safety and law enforcement. She supports rent control, transfer fee, and affordable housing, in addition to programs for renters, homeowners, and landlords. So really is a way for sustainable economic environment for people to stay. She also supports subsidizing housing for teachers due to the need and lack of available affordable housing in the area, and really equitable COVID responses and resources, enforcement of safety codes, and in terms of environmental justice, more routine ventilation and air quality assessments in schools, supporting state-of-the-art amenities, green space, and energy efficient requirements for buildings. And she is running for office because she's already taken up a leadership space, not only in the city, but also running to increase the diversity and equity and engagement, and seeking to be the first African-American woman to be on the city council at large.
Great, thank you. For the next question, it's about energy. So it's, how does she plan to make Somerville an all electric 100% renewable energy city? And by what year will she do so?
Really looking to a lot of guides and best practices that have taken place in Washington State, in addition to some of the pioneering legislation that has taken place in New York State, with them looking to achieve carbon-free energy by like 2050, and really partnering with our state and local resources to maximize the grants that are available for energy efficiency. I believe there's like 6 some odd grants available to citizens and homeowners. All right, definitely 2 minutes. I'll make sure to keep under that. The goal right now for a lot of cities has been like between like 2030 to 2040, you know, having that time to build that infrastructure and procure even more resources, considering how the movement is going toward, you know, ending fossil fuel subsidies and things of that nature.
Thank you. Our next question is in the infrastructure category. So a lot of decisions about public transportation are made at the state level. How does she believe Somerville should engage with public transit? And the question is also in the chat.
partnering, well, not necessarily, well, partnering, but also assessing how to make sure our infrastructure isn't causing safety issues. For example, there's some dangerous points along McGrath Highway, Broadway, and other streets in Somerville neighborhoods, and finding ways to really incentivize people to use not only public transportation, but also advocate for more, what's the initiative for Massachusetts public transit? MBTA. I believe there should be a green line stop coming, and also plans for more train expansion and really supporting really bike and really getting more people just, to be more active.
Thank you. To follow up with that, we just have a yes or no question. You can elaborate if you want. You kind of already addressed this. Do you intend to make the T free for Somerville residents?
Let me put a sticky note on that one. I don't.
Sounds good. Yeah, you can get back to us about that one. So our next category is racial justice and social issues. How do you view the future of policing in Somerville, and how have you engaged with the issue previously?
Looking at and evaluating solutions based on social and racial equity lenses, and really supporting a redistribution of resources to respond in other ways that don't overburden police, because really most of the calls they usually feel really aren't even responding to crime, but something that's probably more suitable for social workers to attend to. And on the education front, making sure our education really highlights the relationship between inequality then and the issues we face now, and how really they're all interconnected.
Okay, our next question is about immigration. So it's also in the racial justice category. How will you integrate new immigrants, particularly undocumented families, into the community and especially Somerville schools?
As a quick question, has there been like a lot of like immigration community definitely is under attack, but in terms of Somerville, has that been like a real, like, I'm from Chicago, so I'm trying to figure out how to ask it the right way. Has there been like things or issues around that in Somerville, or like families facing those issues? Because I know that's something that Somerville is definitely a diverse community, but to my understanding, really because of, fear of federal government, state government, really, I guess, making Somerville an open environment and access to resources for those communities, really.
Yeah, I think that like in terms of ICE, it's probably less of a big deal, but it's still like a little bit present. But this question is more like connecting new immigrants with resources and making sure that they have equal opportunities to
Gotcha.
non-immigrants.
I'll have to put a sticky note on that one and confer with her.
That sounds good. Thank you. So our next question is in education. Also a yes or no question, but you can elaborate if you want. Will you adapt the Somerville High School vocational program to include green job training, like solar panel installation, adapting buildings and infrastructure to be more sustainable, et cetera?
Yeah, that's definitely something she would definitely support.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question is, how can public schools prepare students for a world that'll be heavily impacted by climate change?
Well, definitely an emphasis in our science curriculum about the adverse effects of climate change, in addition to creating pathways and pipelines for students to gain some sort of vocational or technical experience in terms of career exposure to these emerging industries.
Great, thank you. That's all we have. So I'm gonna stop recording now.